Marvel Snap's strongest card in months gets pushed to his absolute limits in this deck list. I've praised Thanos' Fractured Frontiers design for a lot of different reasons, from being cool and evocative to being exciting. But one of the things that I've been the most consistent about enjoying about Thanos' Fractured Frontier is that he's very difficult to duplicate in terms of his effect. Unlike cards like Star-Lord, Mother Ascani, and Sholau, there are not a lot of easy ways to duplicate Thanos' Fractured Frontier. And duplicating him does require going out of your way to do it in very obvious and telegraphed ways. This is because the only thing that meaningfully duplicates Thanos' Fractured Frontier is playing him on a Wong lane. Now, if this was all that was going on here, I wouldn't think this is all that good. But another thing that's going on here, and this is pretty crucial, is that the stones fire in a specific order. And the order they fire in has the clone stone, reality stone, going second. So playing Thanos on a Wong lane where there's only another Wong in it will result in multiple Wongs, and then the other four stones in line behind the reality stone getting affected by those multiple Wongs. This means that when you have red and blue stones specifically, what you're doing is creating a lane full of Wongs and then getting a bunch of other things in addition to those red and blue stones, presumably, then moving Thanos out of that lane thanks to the blue stone and putting an Aurora there for massive power output. This is a real combo aspect that Aurora decks have never had access to before. Aurora's biggest gate has always been that against other mid-rangey decks, it didn't necessarily have the points to stack up. Now they have to stop you from comboing off. That's not even the only additional stacking that this card can bring to the Aurora archetype. Duplicating something as simple as a Venus is exceedingly powerful in the context of what this deck is trying to do with Aurora. There's definitely still some things to figure out with this list, but in terms of a deck that's going to push Thanos to his limits, I find it hard to believe you can do better. The other thing about this deck that is really solid is that you don't have to be a combo deck. You can just be a really solid Aurora deck. And your one-drops being super disruptive is a really cool part of what this deck gets to bring to bear. Spider-Ham specifically is unbelievably good in a metagame against other Thanos decks, because all those other Thanos decks are really playing a lot of their cards out on the board, and Thanos sort of sits in hand until turn 5 every time. You don't have to fire Spider-Ham early, you can just let it happen, and wait until turn 4 before you fire the Spider-Ham off to get a higher likelihood of hitting something like Thanos. Or you can do it the other way, depending on what you think is going to be going on. This is also a great card against combo lists. Hitting things like the Ancient One or Scorpion are really kind of the way you're going to try to win those matchups a lot of the time. You have a ton of value coming out of this one drop specifically, and also Iceman, his partner in crime. Now, he's not as good as the Porker, but Iceman is a very disruptive card in a world where people are trying to curve out as much as they can to make sure their Thanoses do things. He's not going to be disrupting the Thanos curve necessarily, but he can hit things like Thanos, and the decks that are building for Thanos tend to focus very heavily on scalers. So hitting those scalers, making it harder for them to weave a scalar in with their Thanos drawn card, that is really good. It is no surprise that a lot of the Thanos decks are playing Surge. This is sort of your reverse Surge. Surge is there to make it easier to be a curve deck with Thanos. Just play whatever's off the top of your deck and also the cards in your hand. This card is there to make it harder for them to do that. At 1/4, Hydra Bob is a big guy. As an end of turn, it benefits from Aurora. That's really all you need to justify a spot in this list. Not every card in this deck has to be meaningfully disruptive, but it's very helpful if they are. Sometimes you can just play a card that means that you're gonna get better Aurora buffs in a given lane. I talked about all the Thanos lists playing Surge. We are one of those Thanos lists playing Surge. The 2-drop slot is actually one of the harder ones to figure out in this deck. This is mostly there to facilitate your ability to play Thanos stuff, but honestly, there were certainly games where it didn't feel like this was an amazing Thanos deck. Getting 3 stones feels like a lot of what's happening here, and that can definitely be awkward. Surge helping you make sure that like you have some ability to like top deck a 1-drop that is actually going to cost 0 so you can get it in time when you're playing Wong and Thanos on 4 and 5. That stuff is particularly helpful. Luke Cage is a big-time flex slot. He's here partially because I just made a video on the Scorpion deck, to be honest with you. I think he could be Mobius and Mobius. I think he could be a lot of different cards, but since I'm a Thanos deck, I opted for the one that costs 2. Basically, as much as I can get similar utility out of a cheaper card, I'm going to try to do that. If I'm scared of Batroc, though, he can be Mercury. If I'm scared of Mr. Negative, he can be Mobius. This is a put whatever tech card you find most appealing here. One of the best things about Aurora is it can facilitate this stuff, and one of the things that I think most people make a mistake with Aurora is playing their tech card as Cosmo instead of any of the ongoing ones. You really want it to be one of the ongoing sort of board-wide ones in this slot. That is important. It is crucial that it is one of those instead of Cosmo, because Cosmo is a card that you want to use on the final turns of games, surgically deploy. This deck doesn't really have the ability to do that. Play one of the ones that you get to curve out. Awesome Andy is awesome at making sure that Venus is helping you. Now, there is something to be said for Herbie. I think Herbie is mostly a little better than this card if you are always going to get the Herbie abilities in the right order at the right time. I would rather activate on turn 6 the Herbie ability that buffs 2 cards +1 than this. But unfortunately, I have no way of guaranteeing that that will be available to me on turn 6, so I'm playing Awesome Andy instead. Sam Wilson is obviously an amazing card for a bunch of different reasons, but one really important one is that Sam's shield is your best defense against a Thanos Soulstone. This is tech that I expect people to start picking up on in a wider way sooner than later, hopefully, but this is definitely something people should be aware of. Obviously, Sam is also an Aurora deck staple, and you'd be playing him in Aurora anyway, but I really do want to highlight, you don't want to get your Venus blown up, and that is more important than having the 2 points, so make sure that this card is protecting the things you want it to protect. That shield is a real shield right now. Venus is finally starting to become the card that I think the public has thought she was for a very long time now. I think that a lot of the discourse around Venus has been, you know, the public, Reddit, general population saying, oh my god, this card is busted, and then people at High Infinite saying, it's really not that good. And I think that was true up until about now-ish, basically. A couple of things happened to make Venus a significantly better card. The first is the nerf to Mother Ascani and the release of Thanos combined to basically delete Gambit Horseman of Death from the game entirely. That is a huge boon to Venus because Venus is a card that really wants you to play a lot of small things to go alongside things. This is as immune to a Gambit Horseman of Death as a Venus deck can possibly get, basically, and we still don't like seeing that guy, so it's good that we don't. The other thing that has really helped Venus out recently is that Thanos can clone her, and that is just a really cool thing to be doing. Multiple Venuses is a lot better than it used to be. Last up, Shadow King is a lot worse than he used to be because Thanos is pushing a lot of this tech card style gameplay out. Nice Shadow King, dude, but you can't play it in a Thanos deck because there's a limit as to how much tech you can play before you have to curve out tech cards and feel really stupid about playing your Shadow Kings you can load 1 bullet onto Thanos. These situations have combined to result in Venus finally being actually a real threat. And I think that many of my cohort at High Infinite have not adjusted from their previous assumptions about this card. This card is absolutely very good and was previously being held back by metagame concerns. Those metagame concerns are not nearly as real anymore. She's just great. Jane Foster is a flex slot. If you would like to play Iska instead, you are very reasonably allowed to do so. I'm trying to get the curve as low as I possibly can, and Jane Foster is doing two things here. The first is she is your backup Wong thing. You don't draw Aurora, well, you got 3 Wongs, a Jane Foster on those Wongs. It might not be as good as Aurora, but it ain't bad, and it's especially good with Venus. The other thing that Jane Foster is doing is just being good. You're free rolling the Venus stuff. She's a 3-8 to a 3-12 decently, a decent amount of the time. You're really never actually sad to see her. You run Sam Wilson, so you're probably going to be reasonably, I mean, a lot of games just going to have 3 dudes on the board yourself. It's going to be fine. And of course, you know, I mentioned the Venus synergy. That's pretty real. That's like a really solid thing to be doing. And I do think that it's very reasonable for you to take the curve a little bit higher, get a little bit more beef in here, be an Iska deck. You have a lot of ones, you have Sam Wilson, you can protect her from Thanos stones in a way a lot of other decks maybe can't. But it is definitely notable to me that I've enjoyed Jane here. Wongers is a bit of an oddity. A lot of what I like about this deck is the ability to be an Aurora deck that sometimes combos off, but it is a little difficult to ever feel comfortable having the combo and not like being behind on priority such that your opponent is just going to Cosmo the lane or whatever. It's definitely it's a combo that I use a lot more as a threat than as an actual resolution, I think is kind of how it goes. Like, the threat of this combo is very real, and if your opponent is playing a certain type of deck and you know they're not going to be able to interact with it, that's one thing, but if they can interact with it, they almost always are, and it's very unlikely that you're necessarily going to get priority with the 4-2, but the combo is really good if you can get it there, and it really only is 2-card combo, and even if you don't have the Thanos, wonging the Aurora is pretty good too. This guy's just fragile, that's all. The big bad cowboy man is as good as advertised. He is an absolute monstrosity of a card, and I am going to try to push him to his limits because that's what I do. I do think that the Wong stuff comes with commensurate downsides. A lot of the things that made Shoulao so oppressive when it came to pushing Shoulao to his limits is that you really weren't paying a ton of a cost for doing them. They were just already good, and then you were just doing things like that. Wong is an appreciable cost. Choosing to be a Wong deck that otherwise would really love to have priority, like, that's a real actual cost that you're paying. The rewards are worth it, but there is a lot more of a, like, okay, they kind of know what I'm doing here. Like, everyone kind of gets it. Like, they're aware. And I do think that that is pretty appreciable. But even if you're not Wonging here, what this guy's doing is making your thing first steps that you used to play in this slot look stupid. Aurora is your deck building keystone. She is why you get to do all of the things you get to do in this deck. She's why, like, I think basically the way I think about Aurora decks is they're the best decks at playing proactive tech and still having reasonable points in it. So you see like the Luke Cage, the Spider Ham, the Iceman, if we wanted to get a Mobius in here, that kind of thing. That's what Aurora decks are really good at, and that's, I think, the secret power of this deck is that it's modal. You don't need to be a Wong combo deck. It's just cool that you have the ability to be a Wong combo deck in the matchups where it would matter, but the rest of the time you're doing a bunch of really powerful, interactive, and still good points level mid-range things. That's really all you need for a deck like this to succeed. All right, y'all, we're about to jump into some gameplay. If you liked what you saw, remember to like, subscribe, stick around for the gameplay. Hope you enjoy it. As always, I've been KMBest, you've been phenomenal, and I'll see you in the next one. Just got punished by the G-Man. The G-Man punished me. You hate to see it. You hate to see the G-Man do some shit like that, but he did. We're going to go for a bit of a late load here. I think a damn Warlock. Holy. Jane Foster. Shit. Fine. Fine, he says, not coping. Fine. Fine that I have Nowhere to move a goddamn shield. It's fine. Boy. Andy. Do I have to snap back here? I don't know. I honestly don't know. YOLO, losing 8. Winning 8. All right, we got the ice, man. Ooh, take it back. We got the Venus. Venus into a Jane is really good. Even if you're not quick drawing the Jane, it's just a really good thing to do. Okay, I don't like that. I'm unnerved by this. No, not a fan, bro. I like the Wong. There's a zombie deck. I am perturbed. They have a lot of stones. I just draw Aurora for sure, right? That's just surely how this works. Surely I just have Spider-Ham Surge Aurora next turn. And it's easy. Now I just draw Aurora. I mean, it is actually a 50-50. Okay. Fuck it. Sure. Actually, the Hydra Bob moving there, is that what I'm looking for? Snap. Has to be. Another Wong. No respect for me. There's just no way. Knowing your Bob copy moving right and stuff. Oh, yeah. I mean, that was, you know, if we got them, but yeah. Oof, brutal. All right. I don't like that. I don't like that they have two. They're way ahead of me, and I have not shit. I'm making a call out. I don't like the call out I'm making, but I think it's the call out I have to make. I just top deck like a Venus or something, or a 2. It's got to be a 1 on top. It just has to be, or I am dead, I think. Well... Does anyone know if they have the stone that blows shit up in there? Because I'm not staying if they do, but I don't remember if they do. Chat? Anybody? Has anyone been paying enough attention to know? The stone that blows shit up is the orange. Do they have the orange? Surely they don't.
Hi, I'm Spider-Man.
There you have it. Oh, but it's not there. Okay, I mean, I'm still dead. Suddenly, we might not be dead. I think we probably are. Oh, no, we win. Why did they decide? Oh, wait, they don't have the one that blows up? Where's the guy that blows up? You just decided not to blow up my Wong at any point in this game? What the fuck? Sir. Sir. That's the most illegal shit I've ever seen. You're not allowed to make that play, dog. You have to blow up the fucking Wong, bro. I get why you didn't. Turn off friend notifications on Steam. Friends list, there's a cog. Bro. There's a Wii settings cog. I don't see said settings cog. Where the fuck is it? Friends. Here's the settings thing. Disables all chat notifications? That's maybe? Fucking, I don't know. You said Steam, the notifications bell, view all, and then settings. Okay, hold on. I'm working on it.
Hi, I'm Spider-Man.
I keep getting notifications when my friends start a thing. Notifications bell, view all. You have no notifications. I don't want notifications. God damn it. Friends and chat. There's no way to turn this off. That's not, there's no settings cog at all. Steam settings, notifications, friend notifications. What the fuck is wrong with this stupid fucking thing? Steam settings, notifications. Do not ever show me that shit. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Dentani, thank you for the prime. Welcome back. I mean, I think I'm playing Thanos here to blow up a Hulk, if I had to guess. Oh, at some point in the future, I suppose. Wow, they snapped me. I mean, I'll stay. This seems great for me. Moon Girl. What do we suppose this is? Am I allowed to snap back? Or am I a dumbass if I do this? I'm gonna say I'm allowed. Sick gambit, bro. What do we think about this? I don't think they're going to be able to beat the left lane. Wait, I should have Andy'd first. Would have been more points. Yeah, but like, what the fuck are you putting in here for Iska? This is the scorpionest scorpion that ever scorpioned, bro. I need to draw Luke Cage and only play cards in the front line. That's where we're at right now. I mean, I have... Do I just pass into this Wong here? I don't know how many ways he has to copy that. We know he doesn't have an ancient one. My whole hand becomes free. But it's a question of magic, I think. Okay, that's a problem. Doesn't have the ancient one. Okay, we win, I think. And then my hand becomes free. I really do think like I could... Well, wait, no, I threw priority. I don't think I can lose. You got a prodigy here? A lady bullseye. Yeah. So like I threw prio, so I'm probably winning this game. Here's a bunch of shit. I'm pretty sure I'm winning the side lanes, and I might even win the middle. Hello! Let's fast forward, buddy. We're really not fast forwarding that. Okay. That's kind of what I thought. I was fairly confident here.